Conservatives deny responsibility in Club Q shooting.
In the wake of the Club Q shooting, there has been an outcry on conservative talk shows, hosts, politicians, religious leaders. And one of the things that we are seeing from those who have their own platforms is a repudiation of their responsibility in this shooting. Tucker has had, dozens of stories about the mutilation of trans kids, or talking about, supporting violence against trans individuals, but then turns around and says, why did this shooter, do this? The truth is, we don't know. He went on to say that the individual committed mass murder because you complained about sexualizing the sexualizing of children. He said that mockingly, as a response to this. He is one that is obviously out there speaking the party line in a horrible way in a public platform that is widely available. Matt Walsh, he got mad and said leftists are using a mass shooting to try and blackmail us into accepting the castration and sexualization of children. These people are just beyond evil. I have never felt more motivated to oppose everything they stand for with every fiber of my being. Despicable scumbags, soulless demons, evil to the core. Libs of TikTok owner Kaya Rekik, she's been basically saying that she has had nothing to do with this, retweeting all of the arguments of the other individuals. Candace Owen said that she mocked the left for saying that anti-transgender rhetoric could fuel anti-transgender violence, accusing trans-friendly doctors of experimenting on genitals of children, even though gender-affirming surgery isn't performed. She went on to say, I just want to make sure I'm correct in understanding that the left is using the tragedy in Colorado to make the argument that unless conservatives get on board with experimenting on children's genitals with puberty blockers, then nightclub shootings will continue to happen. It's so implausibly stupid, I had to write it out.
Can I jump in on something that's implausibly stupid? Saying that puberty blockers affect children's genitals. It's not an experiment on children's genitals. Puberty blockers work in the brain to stop the hormone release. So it's not in the genitals. That's not what happens.
So, facts are not their strong suit. Neither are pretending that they exist. So, finally, Ben Shapiro called it out and said the quest by the Democratic leadership and media to link a horrifically evil shooting at a Colorado gay club to anyone who doesn't support a progressive social agenda is ongoing and terrible for the country. It's a cynical game only one side plays, and it's trash.
It's funny that he's calling out his own side for being the one that plays these sort of trash games,
right?
While he's trying to make the connection that it's the left when it's actually the right that always does that. Yep. Right-wing media giants say that LGBTQ bar patrons are responsible for their own murders. Now that headline is horrific.
Yes.
How close to the truth of what they said is this?
So Matt Walsh said that drag shows like the one that was happening at Club Q that night exist to let queens satisfy their fetish for cross-dressing in front of children, to indoctrinate children into queer theory, and to turn their children queer. That is the goal.
That is such a bullshit thing to say. How many children were present at that club that night?
It was a 21 and up event. It was 21 and up. There were no children present. The shooting happened way after typical, adult hours began. So we're
just sick of these lying pieces of crap getting away with saying these things and perpetuating this. Like, it's not about kids. Come on.
Right.
He went into a club of LGBT adults and killed people.
So he goes on to say that all of it is so horrifying, so perverse, so degraded. It's so horrifying. He then said LGBTQ people's claim that his rhetoric encouraged violence are invented out of whole cloth. He revealed his true game by asking drag performers if his words are actually causing that much violence and chaos. Why do they continue to hold drag events? By their version of events, it's causing this much chaos and violence. Why do you insist on continuing to do it? If the effort to have men cross-dress in front of children is putting people's lives at risk, why are you still doing it? Is it that important to you? Social media post from someone said the biggest danger of taking your child to a drag show is that a Christian would show up with a gun. Walsh, people die and the first thing they think is, yes, we can use this ammo against conservatives who don't think children should be exposed to drag shows. Somebody wrote to him and said, stop demonizing and dehumanizing the group of people that were just targeted for murder. And he said, it isn't politicizing tragedy. It's responding to others politicizing some people's very existence as free and equal human beings, a response that respondents badly wish were unnecessary. I mean, this person called him out and said, look, this is dehumanizing someone just because you don't have any human compassion. Tucker Carlson, he said the shooting has become a pretext for more censorship of conservative speech. You're responsible for this. They told you because you said the wrong things. You are guilty of stochastic terrorism, inspiring violence by your beliefs. The shooter committed mass murder because you complained about the sexualizing of children. Every time you object to drag time story hour for fifth graders or point out the genital mutilation is being committed, every time you say that, you're putting people's lives at risk. That's how Tucker Carlson was mocking it. He added, the truth is that some adults in this country, apparently a growing number, have a deeply unhealthy fixation on the sexuality of children. When you say that out loud, you get people killed. The odd thing is that they are the ones sexualizing.
Yes.
They are the ones actually doing the sexualizing of kids. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's the interesting, part of this is they're the ones that accomplish the very thing that they are projecting onto others. Jamie Mitchell, founder of Gays Against Groomers, told Carlson that the shooting occurred in part because of gender-affirming health care for transgender children. While she acknowledged that LGBTQ activists feel that the groomer slur is putting a really large target on her back, she missed the irony in the fact that she, too, uses that slur against her own community. The tragedy that happened in Colorado Springs the other night, it was expected and predictable. Sadly, I don't think it's going to stop until we end this evil agenda that is attacking children. So, yes, they are gaslighting the LGBTQ community to basically say they are responsible for their own demise. Mm-hmm. And I mean, this is stuff that honestly we cannot, argue against this. In any way, shape, or form, because we can sit there and we can talk about it, but we cannot in any way determine the impact of what they're actually saying. Hang on, y'all. I'm dealing with some stuff right here.
Well, let me go ahead and jump in and deal with something that I wanted to talk about here.
Okay.
Just the simple title, Gays Against Groomers, is ridiculous and makes no sense because when people are saying groomers these days, they mean the LGBT community. That's been said over and over and over again, that it's LGBT community that is grooming kids. And that's why there's all these anti-LGBT laws. I'm not sure y'all are aware, but the first three letters of LGBT are related to gay and queer identities, queer sexual identities. So to say that you're gays against groomers is just completely false because you're saying we're gays against gays, or if you want to go full in on the just absurdity, just say groomers against groomers, because that term groomers is a false smear against the LGBT community. All of us. They're talking about drag performers who are very often, the majority, are gay men. It's just such a ridiculous thing to have an organization called that, because you cannot separate yourself from that, because in the title, gays, you are part of the LGBT community. And that's the
Right.
community that's being called groomers. So it's just a complete fallacy to separate yourself from this by doing it. And she's just making herself look like a complete fool by doing that.
Well, and again, facts are not, the thing that they reference. What they want to reference is emotional manipulation.
Mm-hmm. And the rhetoric that has been proven to fire up emotion, that rhetoric that has proven powerful and just is fuel to fire. So they're going to keep saying it. And it's just the level of absurdity in that is just getting my blood boiling.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the point of dog whistles. They are the proven terms and phrases that can be tossed out in a flash. People may not be paying attention, but they will hear that. And all of a sudden, boom, here they come.